Hey, deserving listeners, 90 Day Fiancé, Corey and Evelyn. Let's watch.
There's nothing between Evelyn and I. She's
You have no
you.
feelings for Evelyn.
Whether I have feelings for her or not, she chose you, Corey. She made it clear that she wanted to be with you. I want to be your friend.
My one concern is...
This is great. I'm actually really glad that they are having this conversation. It's up to Corey as to whether or not he wants to be friends with Raul. But I think it's totally viable that he would be friends with him. And I think it shows a lot of confidence in Corey and a lot of goodwill from Raul. There have been other meetings like this on 90 Day Fiancé that have gone much differently, right? So I'm really glad to see this. It shows that, you know, maybe our initial reaction of like, oh, this feels like a threat, maybe it isn't a threat. Maybe I need to go talk to that person and see if we can repair the relationship. So good for the two of them. And from the beginning, I've been wondering if Raul, because on the surface, Raul looks like a snake in the grass. He's trying to break them up. He's trying to get with Evelyn. He's not really Corey's friend. But then I thought, well, that's possible. But there's also a possibility that Raul is just kind of a free spirit, and he doesn't mind having feelings and going with them, even if it is for his friend's girlfriend. And he's just kind of free with that. He's not going to harm anyone, but he is okay with admitting those feelings to himself and to other people. And it kind of seems like that's what the situation is. And Raul is sure to say, look, regardless of what feelings I have for her, and he didn't deny having feelings for Evelyn, which is notable, and for us to note that he still has feelings potentially, and also he didn't lie. He's like, look, I'm just going to go past that. But it doesn't matter what my feelings are for her because Evelyn has chosen you. So you don't have anything to worry about. And we're just friends. There's nothing, I'm not going to pursue her. She has chosen you. I understand that. I have self-control. And, you know, you don't have anything to worry about.
Is that you would overstep and think that you have a possibility of being with Evelyn or something.
Hell no, man. I'm your friend, and I'll never do that to you.
And I'm convinced. I don't know, but I think there's been a lot of indication that Raul is being truthful there, that he's saying, no, I'm your friend. I would never do that to you. Yeah, I have feelings for her, and I have had feelings for her in the past, but you're a friend, and she doesn't want to be with me. She wants to be with you, so you don't have anything to worry about. I would never force myself on her. You know, I believe Raul when he said, now, Corey could say, I don't know, I just can't be friends with you. Or Corey could say, well, you know, let's be friends.
I want to believe that Raul's over Evelyn, but there is something that tells me he isn't.
You know,
if you want to be my friend, you can't have feelings for my fiance and hang out with her and go partying with her.
So he can. It's okay if Corey is like, I don't want you in our lives if you still have feelings for her. But it isn't out of the realm of possibility that for Raul, he could have, you know, I don't think Raul's like in love with Evelyn and like constantly thinking about her. That's not my impression. I think he just has a crush. He's worded it as such. And, you know, you can be friends with a crush and know that it'll never go beyond that. You could have a crush on a friend and know it'll never go beyond that. Now, there's different values about that. There's different values if you're in Corey's position, for sure. But there's some flexibility in terms of what values you want to have.
we're just friends, Corey. Just like you, man. I love you as a friend. I love you as a brother, and there's nothing else. And I really mean it.
You know, I really do want to work things out with you. I want to work things out with Evelyn. And
Yeah, that's great. This is good to see. We don't usually see this kind of thing, or at least y'all don't ask me to watch these kinds of couples where we can see positive, healthy relationships in complicated situations.
You know, you have to step up your game this time. She wants you to learn Spanish. She wants you to get in shape. She wants you to go out. She wants you to be in the community with everybody, you know.
I'm going to try to...
So, yeah, we've heard this before from her, and it sounds like it wasn't just a joke during the tell-all. And some of it makes total sense. She wants him to be independent, which means he has to get a job in town. He has to learn Spanish. He has to have his own friends. He has to have his own interests and his own things, and not be a constant clingy side, or clingy husband to her. She wants that. That to me is fair. For him to get thinner, to have more muscles, again, imagine if we had the genders reversed. It wouldn't be okay. Now, can you have preferences, I guess, but we get into some pretty weird territory there. Let me know what you think about that in the comments, because she said that. She wants him not only to lose weight, but she wants him to have a six-pack. She literally said, I will not marry you until you have more muscles. Now, they were kind of joking, but it sounds like Raul is reminding that it isn't just a joke. I don't know.
Because if he doesn't, there's like the whole town wants to date Evelyn. Dude needs to step up his game. Otherwise, he's gonna lose Evelyn again. It's friends before hoes, but I'm saying friends before girls.
I did think that Raul's advice was helpful. I do know I need to be more.
So, friends before hoes. Let's be nicer. Friends before girls. How about friends before women? How about friends and women? How about friends and, your partner? You don't have to rank things like that.
Independent, but I still don't trust him 100%. My priority right now is Evelyn, and I feel like if me and Raul are at least on good terms, it will help me and Evelyn's relationship, and that's what's important.
Yeah, and good on Corey for doing this. There's a lot of people, particularly on the show, who would not have even met with Raul, or would have blasted him if they had met, and it would have gone horribly. And seeing how much, how this hug is going and how much Raul is putting into the hug, it just lends itself to this idea that Raul has a lot of love to give. He's a free spirit, and there's really nothing to feel threatened by him by.
The way I look at it as it's a blessing, because quarantine's basically giving our relationship one more chance. And this is it.
Okay, so of course you would see it that way. I haven't been showing a lot of clips. So what happened was they broke up. I don't know. I would speculate, or at least I would wonder, if they had too much overlap in their lives, too much invasion of her life. And I've been hypothesizing that she has a preference for wanting some emotional space. And when she gets too much of him, it eclipses any kind of love that she has for him. And she's like, I need a break. And so he said that she wanted a break. And then he said, I'm done, and went to Peru because his visa was running out. And then he came back, and they are having some troubles still. And I wonder what that is. They haven't really shown the conflict on camera. So the only thing I have to go off of is he wants a commitment. He wants more involvement. He wants more contact with her. And she wants more space, the pursuer distancer. And I've been hypothesizing from the beginning. Is it just a difference in preference? Is it a difference in attachment style, with the preoccupied being the pursuer and the avoidant being the distancer? I've certainly seen that. And so on one hand, is Evelyn avoidant attachment style, where she definitely does love him, but when there are challenges, she wants to run, because that's typically what avoidance will do? Or is Evelyn just not really into him? Or is Evelyn just have a preference of wanting more emotional space? Avoidant people will want more emotional space because of their avoidant attachment, meaning that when they feel like there's too much pressure, it actually really scares them because they have to be vulnerable. It also scares them that they might disappoint someone else and then they'll be blamed for something. And so they will avoid relationships because of that. They might even avoid their own needs. So there's all that. But there's also a thing that can be correlated with avoidance, that people just prefer more emotional space. It's just maybe how they grew up, or it's their biology or something. So what's going on with that? So was the fighting around that? And then he comes back, and then they're quarantined, and I didn't show the clip, but she said, if it weren't for quarantine, you'd be out. We'd be done. And then he says, I feel like the quarantine is perfect because it's giving us a chance to it's forcing us to deal with each other, which I don't know if that's a good recipe for her feelings. I'm just going to take a guess and say that that's going to cause even more claustrophobia for her. But because he is either more pursuing, either more preoccupied attachment, or more of a person who prefers more 24/7, of course he loves the quarantine. And I wonder if any of you out there had that experience. When the quarantine began, did you have a difference with your partner. You know, for you, you might have been like, oh boy, this is going to be rough. I'm 24/7 with my partner, and your partner is like, yay, 24/7 with my partner. Or was it the same? Was the difference? Anyway, let me know in the comments below.
I deserve
Did
to
I
know.
meet another girl? I'm not gonna lie to you, Evelyn. I did meet another girl, but do I want to be with anybody else other than you? No. Why did I meet another girl? I don't know. Evelyn decided she wanted to have a break, and apparently it was just space that she was talking about. It all seemed.
So this is the same problem they ran into in that other break, where they didn't really understand what they were saying or what they were agreeing to, or they were ambivalent about it. So according to Evelyn, she says, I wanted space. I didn't want a break. And then he took it as a break, meaning that they were broken up, meaning that he could date other people. It sounds like he did date someone else. And she considers it wrong. Now, I could see two scenarios. One is that it's legit, and she thought, no, I didn't know you thought we were broken up and you could date other people. That really hurts. I thought we were just wanting some space. And I could see that being legit. On the other hand, I could see her absolutely saying, I'm done with you. Because she said as much at times, I'm done with you. And then he's like, okay, fine, we're done. But she didn't say it explicitly, but she did think it. He goes off, he dates other people. And she's thinking, yeah, we're both free to date other people. But then he dates someone else. He comes back. She misses him. She kind of wants to be with him. And she's using this as a counterbalance to when she did this to him years ago with her ex. And this is her. And I've seen couples do this where they will be in so much conflict with each other that they will sort of pile up and manufacture things that they can use against the other person, so it'll negate a complaint that person has against you. I don't know which one it is. I imagine it's just, I think there's at least it wasn't clear regarding like what the arrangement was. Was their exclusive relationship over? And I see a lot of people doing this on the show as well, like the Tom Darcy situation. When Tom cheated, Tom cheated, but yes, Tom, he's like, we were on a break. So people need to be more explicit. I understand why you avoid it, because you don't want to get into a conflict. You don't want to hurt someone else's feelings, but you got to be explicit. You got to say, we are no longer, or even if there's a question mark, just be like, if you're Corey and you're in Peru and you meet a woman, you could just say like, you just text or call or something, be like, hey, so are we not, is it okay if we date other people? Because I just met someone. Is that okay, or is that cheating? So, some clarification around that would have been important.
Like the same thing. You decided to go on a break right before we were planning our wedding.
Because you were pushing me way too much. You were saying, oh, this is an ultimatum. And I don't work good with pressure.
More data for the pursuer-distancer dynamic. But the logic, I just don't understand. So I don't know if this is what she was referring to, but she's referring to more of the ultimatum. But by ultimatum, I think what it is Corey saying, you agreed to marry me. Do you agree to, by accepting the ring, by accepting that we are engaged, by setting a date for the wedding, are you setting a date? Are you agreeing to marry me? And either commit to that process or I'm done. And she considers that some sort of negative, unfair ultimatum, which is an interesting way of looking at it. Now, there's nothing wrong with her being ambivalent about marrying him. There's nothing wrong with her saying like, well, okay, I know I agreed to marry you, and I'm still kind of maybe wanting to marry you, but I'm not really quite sure. I need more time. That'd be fine. She could also say, look, I'm not ready to commit yet. I think there's a chance that I'll marry you in a year or two, but you keep pressuring me to get married soon, and I just don't want to do that. Instead of just, having that difference and respecting that difference between the two of them, she ridicules him. Like, you're being unfair. You're pressuring me. And then for him to to interpret it like, well, I know she's giving me a lot of indications that she feels like I'm pressuring her to get married. I'm going to assume that if I keep kind of pressing on that, eventually she will marry me. I mean, that level of thinking, I don't know if that's very advisable either, hence the conflict.
You cannot just blame all of this on me.
Some days I feel like she's going to throw me off the balcony. But other days I'm like, okay, we got hope. There's a chance. It's still there. At least get a hug.
I don't want to be touched.
Let's talk later then, because I want to resolve this.
Another data point for the pursuer distancer and the preoccupied avoidant style. I will say that he's not terribly preoccupied. There's I've been saying maybe like a 10 to 30%. There's a possibility that she's a good 50+% avoidant. I don't know. She could also, again, just not really be into him. But anyway, so he is like worried or just wanting to be nice and saying, let's hug it out. She's like, I don't want to be touched right now. It's really common for avoidant people in situations where there's conflict of like, don't touch me, don't talk to me, get away from me. And it can be very hurtful to the other person. So I will talk with avoidance and say, there's nothing wrong with you wanting space. How do you ask for it? You don't have to hurt people's feelings. You can just say, I'm in one of those moods right now. No offense to you. I appreciate you want to hug me, but I'm just having one of those situations right now where it's really hard for me to do that. Definitely later. I will talk with avoidance on how to know that about themselves and communicate it so that they don't ruin their relationships. But I don't know. It's possible that she's not into this relationship. There's a lot of things. But then she'll swing the other side and be like, I'm totally in love with him. He's the best. So I'm really confused as to where her heart is.
Need me, but because we both want to.
Evelyn decided she wanted to go on a break, and I took that as we were broken up. Which we were broken up. It wasn't taking a break. You broke.
Okay, so he is asserting that it was a breakup. It wasn't just her wanting space, and that he was completely in the right to start dating other women, which he did in Peru. So who knows? But that's his contention. Let's see what she says to that.
Broke up with me.
First it was a break.
But you did break up with me, right?
I just want to.
Okay, so it sounds like it's still up in the air. She disagrees. He agrees. But now she's, I just wanted Corey to see that he could lose me. Whoa, wait, let's rewind.
Took that as we were broken up. Which we were broken up. It wasn't taking a break. You broke up with me.
First it was a break.
But you did break up with me.
And like I've said before, you got to be clear about this. Like when you're breaking up or when you're taking a break, you should be clear. It's like, I want to take a break, but I don't want to break our relationship and I don't want us to date other people. Doesn't take that long. What, took me 7 seconds to say that? 3 seconds to say? Or we're definitely breaking up and we're definitely ending our exclusivity and we definitely can start dating other people. Yeah, doesn't take long. Just say it. Don't assume that the other person understands what you're doing.
Right?
I just wanted Corey to see that he could lose me and try to show some effort into actually doing the things that he promised me.
Yikes. So she's saying that she broke up with him, or at least did something akin to breaking up with him, because she wanted to show him that he could lose her. Yikes. So, and she's saying that she wanted that to happen so it would motivate him to do the things that she wanted him to do. There's nothing wrong with wanting your spouse to do something, but to play a game, that's the definition of playing games that people do. I don't play games. Games meaning that you would essentially lie or act like you're doing something when in reality you're trying to get them to do something else. So that's, now maybe what she's saying is, I was trying to send him a message that I wanted space. I didn't say I wanted to break up with him. And I was saying, look, unless you do X, Y, and Z, I just can't be with you. Is that what she's saying? Or is she saying what she's literally saying of, I wanted to manipulate him into doing what I wanted to do, and I was using our relationship as, an ultimatum, as you either do those things, because you're not doing those things, well, let me back up. It's not an ultimatum. What she's saying is, I acted like I was breaking up with him because I wanted him to realize that he could lose me, so it'll motivate him to do the things that I've wanted him to do. That's essentially what she said.
Once I found out about Corey hanging out with this Jenny in Peru, of course, at that time I was mad. But he told me that he only hung out with her for 4 days. But after I kept pressuring him, he admitted that there was more to the story.
All right, so is it cheating? Is it not cheating? It sounds like he asserts that they were broken up, that she broke up with him, and that he was free to date other people. She's saying that that wasn't really true. Is he just saying that because he's trying to get out of doing something that was wrong? I don't know. Maybe we'll never find out. All right, well, that is it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.